Welcome to the channel. This is Geauxgreddy and welcome to the 2021 FIA Manufacturers Season Stage 1 Race 10. The big finale of Stage 1, and we are at Sardegna, Road Track A in the Group 3 cars. Can I pilot the DBR9 up towards the front? Well, you're going to have to stick around to find out. All right, so the lobby opens up, and it's a lobby full of A-plus drivers, and I'm door number 18. That's putting on the pressure on old Grady to set a good qualifying lap, and I've been doing okay in my practice lobby, so I said I'm going to go at it alone. And so there I am, way out front. I managed to release out of the pits early, and I just put the pedal to the metal and said, let's go. So I came out of that last corner, good drive, pushed hard down the straight here. The DBR9 on its own can get up to 161 at the top of that hill. So I don't really have to have a slipstream to put in a decent time. But it would be helpful if you can get the right slipstream, but you just can never tell. So this is the hardest part of the track for me in the DBR9 because it's a very pushy car, and it tends to want to just drive straight. So going through the twisty parts can be a bit of a challenge. So I get through there unscathed, and I'm pretty happy with the lap so far. Getting on the brakes there, coming in this fast left-hander, getting the gas where I can see that gap up here in the trees. Do a pretty decent job of it. Not a perfect lap, but not a terribly sloppy lap. Fast forward down through this upper hill section, getting to the braking zone there just before the 100 board. And sometimes I'd have to drop it to first to rotate here if I was coming a little too hot, but didn't have to do it right there. I was able to get pretty decent drive coming out of that hairpin and into the uphill essence here at the top of Sardegna A, getting to the top of the hill just by the cabin there. Get on the brakes there at the end of that gray boards. Just missed the guardrail nicely. Could have carried more speed through there. I wasn't too happy with that, but hey, you know, it's a qualifying lap, and you got a little bit of nerves going, so I was okay with, you know, that amount of speed through that corner. Fast forward down towards the end of the lap, and I finished with a 140.178. I was really happy with that. I think that my fastest lobby time was like a 140 flat, so a tenth off of my fastest practice lobby time, unassisted with no slip. Hey, can't complain. So the strategies for this race: you have to have soft tires, you got to run the medium tires, and you can run them in order. You can either run the mediums first if you're near the back of the grid, or run the softs first if you're running the front of the grid, or you can flip them and try and hold off everyone with medium tires. Usually the tires will fall off somewhere between, you know, the soft tires somewhere between, you know, 7, 8, 9, 10 laps, depending on your car, how you drive. So I wanted to be on the mediums for 9 laps, and then on the on the soft for 9 laps, and then on the mediums for 6. And look at there, that blue car, that's Andre Saab in pole position. So congrats to Andre for grabbing pole. I've raced with him a lot over the years, so it was nice to see him grab a pole position in his Aston. So we get the start, and it starts me off in the wrong gear. So I'm smashing on the rev limiter to start the race. Audi Racer in front of me with that level 10 tire warming technique that Super GT often uses in his kart racing. So glad to see that worked out for him. I should have used the same technique because the rear end got loose on me heading through turn 1. So maybe I need to practice Audi Racer's tire warming techniques there. Really, what I need to do is stay in the slipstream, though, here at the beginning of the race. And, of course, unfortunately, the beginning of the race is the part of the track that I struggle the most in, and then with cold tires does not help at all. But one thing I was certain of, if I get through this corner alive, then I was pretty sure I could catch up to him, his DBR9, pretty quick on the straight. I was able to leave it in 5th gear through all the straight sections because fuel was not an issue in this race, which meant I got to use the DBR9's best asset, which is this 5th gear. And you saw me, I just got a bump there from the Corvette from behind. Apologies to him for going a little slow coming out of that corner. The tires were just cold, and then the DBR9 is not grippy to begin with. So, yeah, it was just not a good combination, cold tires and this car in twisty sections of track. Get a pretty decent drive out the left-hander by the cottage right there. Get on the brakes, and this is where I was pretty sure I was going to catch it, was right through here. Get on the gas early, and then let the DBR9 do what it does best, go down a straight. The un-BOP'd version of this car is actually pretty good in the corners. They just really, I don't know what they did in the BOP on this car. Just the weight the, I don't know what the combo is, but man, it doesn't, it's not alive like it is in real life. Now, if you notice there, cars starting to split out left and right. I was going to follow the Chevy around the outside there, but it looks like he gets in the back of the Jaguar, and then so I slip on by on the inside. So chance presented itself, so I went for it. And then the F1 moves over to the left. I didn't know why he did that, and then I got hit behind by the other vet, and that pushes me into the McLaren F1 there. And I don't know what happened there, but if you look at this, you look at the tires. So you got Andre on the racing softs, and then P2 on the softs, and then there's that F1 on the mediums, me on the softs, and then P5 and P6 on the mediums. And so this McLaren was on the medium tires, and I figured he was because that car is so fast around this track, and he hits the guardrail there and sends the sparks flying. And I was like, luckily he hit that guardrail, because that F1 is scorching on this straight. So luckily the DBR9, no slouch on the straight either, so I was able to get by him. Then I was like, oh no, he's going to slip down the inside and try and outbrake me with those mediums, but he thought better of it, thankfully. So I was able to slip in front of him there, heading through the hairpin, took that P3 position, and now I need to try and catch up to the Jaguar in front, see if I can't get into his slipstream while getting out of the slipstream of that McLaren, because it is so fast on the straight. So I need a really, really good braking section here and try and get on the gas early on this very tight 90-plus degree. I guess it would be 90-minus degree. It's like an acute angle. Look at that geometry, huh? All right, so looking at it at the time, I did get out of the slipstream of the McLaren and not quite in the slipstream of the Jaguar. So heading down the straight did my job, but I've got to stay out of it through turn one. So as we come down the straight, picking up a lot of speed, I'm going to get on the brakes here right before that red marker there on the guardrail on the right. Drop her down to second gear, get on the gas early and come out, and I was able to hold off the group behind me. So moving on to lap number 4, I'm about a second behind the Jag. I got about 3.5 seconds to the group behind me, so I was pretty happy with that. And, this is why I did not want to start on mediums. This is what's going on here on lap 4. So you can see the Corvette gets hit behind a little bit there by the other Corvette. And then now you got 3 wide going in the corner, and they're just banging doors and losing time, and they're jockeying for a position. And, they're racing. I mean, it's a race. That's what they're going to do. But that's not what I want to do. I just wanted to put in fast lap times, stay out front, and that's why I did not start on mediums, even though I was in that kind of iffy position in 5th. I went on the softs, and I was like, this is what I want to do. I want to jump in behind someone, and we are going to ride it out. So Andre goes into the pits here. He's jumping off his soft tires on the mediums here at lap 8. I could have, but I decided not to. And then I make another decision here, which I kind of regret not going for the move right there. I really had a run on him heading towards the corner. But I was like, you know what? I don't even... We're very equally paced, and I didn't want to get out in front here through this part of the track, which I'm usually slow at, and then slow us down and then lose time to Andre, because I thought maybe if we had a really good in-lap here, I was hoping we could maybe jump in front of Andre. Not likely, but possible, or at least get into Andre's slipstream. But the Jag was just struggling through this section of track. So I was like, I should have passed him there. He's doing worse than I would have done by myself. So we end up going to the pits. And I jump on the medium tires. So does Audi Racer, and so does not Audi Racer, but the Jaguar, Baleski, or how you say his name, Baskalaski. I don't know why I try. Why do I try? So my man there warming his arm up. Look at it. It gets me out of the pit in under 6 seconds. That is like Red Bull type pit stop right there. Verstappen would have been just, man, so elated. He'd got on the radio and been like, that was such a good pit stop. Or something like that. I don't think that's how he talks, but we'll just pretend that is a great impersonation. All right, so we come out there, and the other Corvette, Marlowe F24, however you say his name, he was out there. He actually had a really nice undercut on us, gets out in front of us, and I'm hoping that he was on the softs and is now on the mediums. Come to find out later, he was on the mediums and now is on the softs. So we need to stay in a slipstream, and as we go to lap number 11, we have lost the slipstream, but I have maintained pace with the Jaguar. Now, the very important part of the race happens right here. He goes wide and hits the guardrail. Now, I've got a decision. Remember last time I decided not to go over. This time I was like, you know what? He's got dirty tires. He's not going to be able to make this corner. I'm going to go for it here because I don't want him to slow me down because I'm looking in my rearview mirror and I see a gaggle of cars coming from behind. Remember the gaggle I showed you earlier? Bumping and bouncing off each other? Yeah, they're right behind P5 right now, and I wanted no part of that. So you can see the 4 green flags there on P5 through P8. Yeah, they're coming, and they're coming fast, and they're coming hard. So I need to break the slipstream and try and get away from this pack. As you can see the Super peeking out from behind the Jaguar, and he is on soft tires. He went in actually on the end of lap 5. So, but he's in the Super. Super is good in the corners, and it's good on the straight too. So a scary car coming up from behind, and I'm hoping that these medium tires will hold up and I'll be able to hold off the impeding danger that is behind me, which is about 5 or so guys wanting to be on the podium, and I am in P3. And then if you look behind me in the rearview mirror, something happens. Big gap opens up to me and P4. What happens is the Jaguar going into the left-hander here by the church, struggling on the exit, gets in there's a tiny bit of grass there, gets on the gas, spins out, but unfortunately the Super is right there, gathers him up. Super lucky he didn't get tangled in that as well. Ghosted through him, or went through the ghost, and that actually helps me out a little bit as I brake late. As I'm looking in my rearview mirror, I'm like, oh my goodness, that dude just got killed. Didn't realize that actually kind of killed himself a little bit there, but still stinks for the Jag there. He was having a really good race up until that lap. Now looking at me, I have got a 0.9 second, 1 second gap here on lap number 13 that I need to hold on to. I am on the medium tires. The Super is on the softs. He is now within the slipstream, heading into this last left-hander before the long straight. I absolutely have to have an excellent last corner. I get out, get on the gas, and I start to pull on the Supra, which is good because that takes me out of the slipstream, heading into lap number 14, and I can hold on, I think, for lap number 14. If I can hold on for lap 14, I can just drive defensive on lap 15. I'm not even paying attention to P2. Manilow all out there pretty much by himself. My eyeballs in the rearview mirror. I'm actually kind of looks like maybe even gaining on him a little bit. I kind of wish I had paid a little more attention to him in front of me, but the task at hand is holding off P4 and the hard charging Supra and his gang of merry men that are not far behind him. Don't want to lose out or get into a tangle that might cost me even more positions. Get on the brakes here. Again, right by the church. I really need a nice exit here on lap number 14. I get one. It's not perfect. It's not the fastest ever, but it was a good, solid left-hander. Again, don't need to be braking late and pushing here. I get just a little bit deep there. Maybe it'll just push him just a little bit too hard and allows him back into the slipstream. 4/10 behind me is the Supra, heading through the uphill S's right there by the shack. Hanging a left under the Michelin sign, heading down towards the last corner. I need another good last corner. Now, like I said, DBR9, one of the fastest cars in 5th gear, or at least in that, up to that 160 mile an hour range, that kind of mid top end before I get into 6th gear. So not an easy task for the Super to catch the DBR9. I've got 4/10, but I was gaining on him. Now he's back in the slipstream, pulling on me. Got it down within 3/10 as we head towards the final braking zone on lap number 15. I dropped the anchor right there at the red marker on the board. I'm going down left. He sends it down the inside, gets into my rear quarter panel. But something happens when we come out the other side. He's unable to hold that inside line. What happened was he came in hot. A little bit of a late move there. He gets me going out. Luckily, when he gets back on the gas, the rear tires would not hold on the Super, and he gets squirrely. So I'm able to stay out in front of him here on the final lap, getting on the brakes right there just after the 50 board. Got to hold on, making sure he doesn't try something down the inside right through there. Probably my part of the track I struggle the most on is these two sets of corners right here. So I got to hold on again by the church, left-hander. It's just got to be a good enough turn for me to be able to use the DBR9's power coming down that second straight, so to speak, as we go uphill, up the power section of the track, heading towards the tight left-hander. I'm going to give him the outside, going to make him drive the long way around. He puts it to the outside. I give him the brakes there just before the 100-meter board, and I hold him off. Now he gets an undercut as I brake a little bit late. We're side by side heading into the uphill S's. I'm on the right side. I'm able to pull in front just before the left-hander underneath the Michelin sign, and I get through it still in front of the Supra. Will he outbrake me in the final corner? I drop the anchor as late as I can, drop it in first gear to make the apex, stick it on the inside apex. He's got nowhere to go but eat rear bumper. And he does. We're coming down the final straight. 5/10 behind me. He is not going to catch the DBR9 on the final straight. Lap 15. Geauxgreddy finishes stage 1 with a podium finish. 3rd place. Extremely happy with that. Oh, it was an exciting race. Way to end it. I played my strategy well, and it worked out. 232 points, 2nd highest for the season. Picked up about 1,300 DR. So great race. Really enjoyed that. Hope you enjoyed the race. If you did, hit the like and or subscribe. Come back, check out some more of the action. For myself, Geauxgreddy. Y'all have a great evening. DJ Clean, take us out of here.